Hey guys, it's Chahat here. I have appeared for intermediate examination in January 26. So here in this video we will be discussing about the exams of January 26 and we will be analyzing that what was the weightage of chapters and which chapters covered in the exams. So I have jotted here some key points of the exams. So starting with the advanced accounts. So advanced accounts, as the past trend says that accounts exam is easy but it's lengthy. So trend continues in the January also. The exam was easy. It can be helpful for the aggregate also, but yeah, it was lengthy. So first of all, so the thing is that descriptive exam, the 70 marks, is totally based on the practical chapters and the practical AS. Means I just noticed that there was no question of theory AS like your discontinuing operations, or we can say theory AS like provisions, contingent liability, contingent assets. These were not asked in the practical portion, and the MCQ portion have the theory chapters, and also the MCQ part has something means new. Which what was that? Like there are three or four paragraphs in the same case study, and each paragraph related to the different AS. So you can't skip out any AS, because like you can see that in the one AS they have covered four AS. In one case study they have covered 4 AS, so you can't even think about skipping off any AS or any chapter. If I'll talk about, like, I just noticed that there was I don't think then any chapter was missing, only was except two or three chapters. No chapter was missing. Either it is covered in the descriptive part or in the MCQ part, so you should not skip anything. Like, right, and the main weightage, or we can say the main covering in the exam was internal reconstruction, amalgamation, and consolidation. These three chapters carries 14 marks each, so you just prepare well for these three chapters, because also you have seen that if you have practiced your RTPs, MTPs, so these three chapters covers in every exam. So you should prepare well for these chapters. And also the cash flow statement always comes in the exam for 10 to 12 marks. In this exam also, it was in the MCQ. Like there was a case study and there was 5 MCQs related to that cash flow statement, and obviously these were, or they were 2 marks each. So 10 marks was allotted to the cash flow statement. And also there was investment chapter which carries 7 marks. Also the buyback chapter, which we thinks that comes generally in the MCQ portion, it this time it was covered in the descriptive part and carries 7 marks. And also if I'll talk about the theory AS, so there was employee benefits, there was contingent liability provisions, there was related party disclosure. So these were covered in the MCQ portion. And you can't skip out the branch, because branch chapter was also asked in the descriptive part, so you can't skip out that. And construction contract is also very much important. But at the last tip is just that please don't skip any chapter or any AS, but you have to main focus on the three chapters, that is amalgamation, internal reconstruction, consolidation. Yeah, also the cash flow statement and also the financial statements. In the January 26, no question was asked from the like financial statements. You have to prepare balance sheet, profit and loss statement. This was not asked, but yeah, this can be asked in the further examination. So prepare well for the financial statement. You must aware about the format, about the balance sheet and PNL. So this can be asked. So this was all about the advanced accounts. Moving on to the law subject, the law exam was tricky and we expect that the question came from the core areas, but this was not so in the January 26. We expect that question came from CSR, internal audit, deemed prospectus. sweat equity shares or IPF disqualification. These all questions or these all topics were not asked in the January 26. The questions asked like who shall authorize the financial statement. We just think that this is not so important, that which are the persons who authorizes the financial statements. And the question was also asked that and how many days the partner inform about the changes or about the changes in the particulars to the LLP, and then LLP further informed to the ROC. This was asked in the case study. So basically I have noticed in the law exam that the questions were like we have not expected that this can also come. So the advice is only this, that don't think that this is an underrated topic. No question has been asked even at on even one time in the any examination. Please don't like expect this thing. Question can be asked also from the non important topics. The question was also asked about the like the registered office, in how many days it should be established, and we have to inform to the ROC. There was also a question of the reservation of name by the company. So these were also asked. So please don't think that this should not be asked in the question can be asked from the any topic. And the yeah there was the exam was lengthy because we have to write the provisions, then facts, and then conclusion. So it was lengthy, we have to maintain the speed. Also prepare well for the other laws, especially FEMA. There were many questions asked from the FEMA, like means you have the knowledge about the transactions, means current account transactions, capital account transaction, and also like what are the transactions which needs the approval of central government, which needs the approval of RBI, and with some transactions which are completely prohibited. So you must have the complete knowledge of the all transactions. There was, I just think that the straightforward questions asked from the FEMA, because you must know about the transactions and the questions was asked related to those transactions only. So prepare well for the FEMA chapter. Also there were many questions of the LLP chapter also, GCA also, and the interpretation also. So these were the chapters which were also asked. So have the complete knowledge of all these chapters. Moving to the tax subject, I personally advise you to start from the indirect tax, that is GST, because questions in the GST are comparatively easier than the direct tax. So as you know that the first question is from the ITC chapter, but that is not the only from the ITC. It is the like a mixture of exemption, RCM, and ITC itself. And if I'll say that there are 10 points in that question, so like there are 8 points from the exemption chapter. So you should be prepared well for the exemption chapter, because you can't attempt for the ITC question if you are not prepared well for the exemption chapter. Also there was a question of the value of supply, in which you must be aware of the like 6 items were there in the book, like which tells that what are the like which items are to be included in the value of supply. So you must be aware of that. Also there was a question of the time of supply. So time of supply is also a like important chapter. And there were few like questions like what is the time limit, maximum time limit for issuing the credit note. Also there was a question about the e-invoice. So these were the questions in the GST, which was not very difficult, that was easy. If I'll move to the direct tax, then you know that the 15 marks question comes first, but you should attempt at the last, because there were many adjustments and we have to find out the tax liability also. So I just advise you to do the question in the last. And there were many other questions from the chapter residential status, which was also a difficult and confusing also. and other sources question was easy, and there was question from the set of chapter is easy and also the marks scoring, so you should prepare well for the set of chapter also. So this was all about the indirect tax and the direct tax, but I just think that you must attempt the indirect tax first, because uh, this can build up the confidence that you have attempted for the 50 marks and only the 50 marks is remaining. So this will helps you to build up the confidence. I hope this video would be helpful for all the upcoming students appearing in the intermediate exams. So all the best to my all CA buddies.